Well, ladies and gentlemen, we got some huge news that just came down the chutes. A major development: Iranian official says they're willing to sign a nuclear deal with Trump in exchange for lifting economic sanctions. This seems like a great development. There's probably going to be negotiation, but this is big stuff. Iran willing to sign a nuclear deal, which was really doubtful considering the relationship that Trump and Iran had dating back to his first term when he ripped up the original agreement. Do you see the Indian representative? Yeah, it's a joke. They ask him to name the districts or whatever. They ask him to name like cities, he can't name them. It's pathetic. That's who these liberals have elected. So many people that just it's like they've been imported to America, and in 3 days they get elected to public office. Ilhan Omar is another one. With the markets going higher with the trade deals, which will trigger rate cuts, you're extremely bullish on the market and economy for a year. Yeah, I'm really bullish on the economy as well. You don't want to get overzealous with it, and you want to make sure inflation is down. It's very important inflation stays relatively stable, or hopefully goes lower even, relative to what it currently is. But yeah, I mean the economy looks pretty good right now. The indicators look good. Starmer looking to resign later this year after accumulating losses in UK local elections earlier this month, just months after massive majority. Is he looking to resign? What is going on with Starmer? He's coming out now and he's heavily against immigration. Like it's crazy. It's almost you can tell it's completely fake, but it's remarkable. I've already returned over 24,000 people who have no right to be here, and I won't stop there. The Tories lost control of our border. My Labour government is going further than ever to tackle illegal immigration at its source. Yeah, so they just got crushed by the Reform Party in local elections, and so this is the result of it. I know you're angry about immigration. I get it. Mark my words, I will take back control of our borders. Cutting migration. Well, a lot of the conservatives in the UK are saying that's not good enough. They're saying you need to remove these people, get them out. I mean, London's already a complete cesspool. The problem with that is they're the largest financer of terror. Yeah, I understand, man. But at the end of the day, we're not. Trump is. There's no way Trump can be involved with a war with Iran. It's just it's worst case scenario for the MAGA movement. Uh, hey man, what's up? Hope all has been well. Just a suggestion: you should create a members Discord server. Would be nice to have a spot for discussion. Also, hope Zion Don alter ego stays gone. Yeah, I mean, with Trump, we'll see. I mean, there's a crazy shift. To me, Trump is very volatile, and originally it was helpful for Israel because he was like extremely aggressive against Palestine and said they needed to be displaced. But now he's being volatile in the opposite direction, and they don't like it. Now, you could say, well, it's a setup. It's too good to be true because it's just constant news against Israel. So it's hard to say for sure. But yeah, I appreciate that. When it comes to a Discord members only, I don't know if I have the following for that to create a members only. Well, you know what? What do you mean, like a members only from the YouTube members? So if you're a YouTube member, you get the Discord members only. I don't know how many YouTube members I have right now. I mean, if I shouted it out more, I could probably get more members. I think I probably have like, I don't even know, maybe 100 members, something like that, on YouTube. Channel members. Thoughts on Piers Morgan being with Trump? I didn't even see it. Did he have an interview with Trump? Yeah, he's been buddy buddy with Trump for a while. They go way back. Thoughts on the Diddy trial taking place? I mean, I saw it. I haven't really watched much of it. I don't know. For whatever reason, I know the general public loves trials. I never found trials overly fascinating. People love them though with the drama. You remember the Johnny Depp trial was probably like one of the biggest things of, I don't know when it was. Was it 2022 or 2020? It was like the biggest thing of that year was that trial. Some of the trials are interesting, like the racial stuff, but like this where it's, I mean, obviously I hope they all get caught, and it's an entire ring of celebrities doing it. So we'll see what comes to light in terms of that. Trump's foreign policy is very impressive. Will be a huge talking point along with the border. 2 huge wins at a minimum. Yeah, well, they'll dispute the border because they'll say there's not enough deportations. But no, I agree with you in general. You know, we just got the new numbers. I tweeted about it. We got the new numbers here. Where are the new numbers? April border numbers just came in. Encounters down 93%. So the encounters every month since Trump got in, February, March, April, they've been down 93 to 95%, 129K versus 8K year over year. It's pretty it's incredible. Just he's shut down the border. Now the deportations is another story. And the economy, I agree. I tweeted out Fed will be forced to start quantitative easing. 10-year yield is 4.5%. Yeah, the yield is going back up. But if they start quantitative easing, which you could say, well, that's inflationary. But listen, we've been operating under QT. They're going to switch it at some point. Trade deals, rate cuts, QE. Ethereum has gone back up over like 2,700. Yeah, I saw yesterday 2,700. YouTube member Discord. Yeah, I joined that on Heartbeat. Yeah, no, I understand. I think I have to probably get more members to be able to do something like that. Levin is now talking about Saudi Arabia's involvement in 9/11, leaving out Israel's involvement conveniently. Well, it's all fog of war. You know, I've done a lot of research on 9/11, and I got another 9/11 video coming out. I'm trying to get it through monetization, talking about Bin Laden and 9/11. But a lot of the whether it's the Saudi stuff, you know, Bin Laden was born in Saudi Arabia, and then they took his citizenship away in '94. But there's connections with both of them. But there's also connections with Qatar. The head mastermind was living in Qatar. It wasn't Bin Laden. It was Muhammad. Imagine Trump's approval rating, these recent developments, China trade deal, trillions in investments for the Saudi speech, Syrian sanctions removed. Yeah, well, the investment, I don't think does a ton for that. A lot of the investments don't end up fully being followed through on. So they'll say, well, $1 trillion over 10 years or whatever it is. We'll see. Because Trump made a lot of Middle Eastern deals. He did his tour back in 2017. You know, the new president comes in, they immediately go to the Middle East because of the oil money. But I know what you're saying. They're definitely doing bigger deals. Like I was comparing the deals Trump did with the Middle Eastern countries in 2017 versus now, and they're significantly bigger. NFL schedule dates just dropped. Yeah, I saw the schedule stuff is going pretty crazy. Guys, look, I announced this. I'm going to start working out again. I'll let you guys know what I do. I think I'm going to start running. Maybe do 3 miles. See if I can do 3 miles. That'll be good for me. Browns going to England to play the Vikings. Dude, that stuff is so annoying. Those neutral games, there's way too many of them. It's just to placate to the global brand of the NFL. It does nothing for the fan bases. I didn't mind the global games when there were 4 of them a year, but now there's like 8. This is what they do in every sport. It just becomes a cash grab. Look at the games. Look at the NFL games. They're on YouTube TV. They're on Prime Video. Ben and Jerry, it's always just such a liberal. The ice cream company, very liberal. Everything that comes out of Ben and Jerry is extremely liberal. And then they're whining about RFK Jr. making a disruption while he's getting questioned or something. Did you see Macron and Starmer in the video holding something that looked like a baggie of drugs? Looked like they didn't know the camera was on. Yeah, they got caught and they tried hiding it. Just not a good look. Running is overrated. You should start swimming. Swimming is extremely taxing. Extremely taxing. Honestly, I shouldn't start with swimming. Also, I can run easier than swim. See, the thing is I don't really want to get my gym membership again. I had a pretty good membership. I was at a good gym, not like a chain or anything, like a pretty good gym, but I don't really want to go back to that now because the last time I really had a gym membership was about 2 years ago. But I'd rather just try running. I used to do cardio, but it was stationary cardio. It was taxing cardio. It was like the Stairmaster. So it was and I could do 30, 25, 30 minutes. But I could probably run 3, 4 miles. I don't know, maybe. But run and slash walk within a certain amount of time, do like 30 or 40 push-ups. I mean, I'll try and see if I can do that tomorrow. But I'll probably be able to get into decent shape pretty quickly, honestly, because if I'm eating 2,400 calories, I'll get into very decent shape easily if I end up following through with it. But I'm trying to wake up. I woke up at like 5 a.m. this morning, not because I wanted to, because I just woke up and I couldn't fall back to sleep. But I'm not too tired now. It's like I passed my threshold of allotted sleep. There's a certain amount of sleep that you can get to where you'll be all right and you'll be able to function. If I don't get like 4.5 hours at least, it gets real bad during the day. But I guess I got that because I can function right now pretty normally. President Vance or GTA 6 first. Yeah, dude, GTA 6, they're talking about it being delayed again. I don't think it's going to be delayed again. They just say that. There's a release date. It'll come out. I saw there were so many wetlands. The map is just massive. People are complaining the map is too big and there's going to be a bunch of like desert area and stuff. That's what they complained about GTA 5 about. Derek Chauvin pardon. I saw that. Yeah, that'll be another race thing if that comes out and that happens. I mean, that was a totally politicized trial and sentencing. 1,000%. There was so much pressure on the judge to sentence him harshly, and because it's a state of the Minnesota. There's state charges and there's federal charges. I think the state charges are worse than the federal charges, so I don't know how that works in terms of, it's almost like it's out of Trump's hands. It becomes a state thing. I guess Trump can pressure the state of Minnesota, but I don't know. What's your sleep schedule? I try and go to bed. I mean, it's like 2 or 3 to 8. 10,000 steps a day is pretty good workout. Yeah, 10,000 steps is a lot, honestly. You don't think it is. I mean, it depends what job you do, but I do a very stationary job, so I'm not getting constant steps just from doing my job. So if you're forced to make an effort to get 10,000 steps, it's not 10,000 steps is not nothing to sneeze at. I'd rather run and I could accomplish it a lot faster than just walking. Because I know a lot of older people do the 10,000 steps stuff. You burn like 300 calories, I think it is. Depends how much you weigh, but remember when Zelensky did the video call and they didn't even bother to hide the coke on his desk when they released a video call on him? Yeah, I mean, there's been several moments with it. I mean, it's just so obvious. The way that they were giggling about it and then they just quickly hit it. They're like, oh, it's a napkin. But then why would he hide it like that? Why would he grab a napkin that's like got supposed snot in it that's already, you don't grab it like that. I don't know, that's just what I think. If you get into running, you need to ease into it. Don't want to add miles too fast. Can't recover fast. Bad for joints and knees. Yeah, that was the issue that I was having. Was it was a problem on my ankles were hurting when I used to run, but I never got into running too much. GTA 6 should have been released 5 or 6 years ago. Yeah, but I mean, people are still going to play it. It's such a massive game. Anything Rockstar, especially GTA, it's just going to be a huge release. Even though it's played out at this point, it's still an open world game that's going to have just amazing graphics that you can just do a lot of stuff in it. Yeah, I'll show the Trump clips in a second. We'll see. Trump was in Qatar, so I guess Trump is accepting that airplane. I don't know the exact terms of it. $400 million. Trump says that I don't. We'll see if there's an update on that plane. That's a pretty sweet landing. Yeah, these Arab countries have been really nice to Trump. Not surprising, but That was when Trump was still in the United States talking about it. Trump is probably at UAE tomorrow, I think, going to the United Arab Emirates. Thoughts on Bibi saying he's going to attack Gaza regardless of what Trump says? I think he's pressured. I think he's very pressured by Trump's recent statements. But they were always going to use October 7th to really just pound Gaza. Just they want them displaced 100%. They're going to use October 7th to try and get them displaced. And it seems like Trump wants to work out some type of deal to where maybe they're not. I mean, I've been seeing different tweets to where they're like, well, Trump is saying, no, he doesn't want them displaced now. I don't know if it's true or not because you know how X is with all the engagement farming, but Trump also had some pro-Israel rhetoric in terms of Hamas, and obviously we know that Hamas is a terrorist organization, but when it comes to the United States and our involvement, we're always going to be involved because of the amount of money we send to Israel. But there's like this growing thing that some of these people are doing. They're saying, well, the fall guy is Netanyahu. Well, he's their leader, so obviously he's going to be their fall guy if something happens, but we'll have to see. Why do you pronounce it Qatar and not Qatar? Because that's how it's pronounced, believe it or not. It's pronounced Qatar. And I used to pronounce it Qatar because it's like Qatari and stuff, but yeah, no, it's Qatar. I mean, I remember Trump saying that like 5 months ago. He's like, it's actually Qatar. They told me I have to pronounce it like that. So I think Trump pronounces it like that as well. Greenland would be a huge win as well. As for leverage, slowly getting off of China's tit. Yeah, Greenland is a tough situation because there's not a lot of support for that. Not that it matters too much, but it's not going to be something that's publicly loved. Again, it's something you do, and it's in a month. Hopefully, people forget about it or whatever. But that's one of those things to where you'd love to be able to convince the public that China's a serious threat for Greenland, and they are. I mean, we saw. I've done stories on China, their influence. Did you see MTG at the hearings? What hearings? I saw something with MTG. I forget what it was. It's something. Wasn't it the Chauvin stuff? Or no, that was just a rumor. I heard she was going to help with that. MTG is an attention seeker. Aiden Ross raves about Barron Trump. You think he's generally a brilliant and amazing heart, great soul. Barron is awesome. Yeah, Aiden Ross got Trump a bunch of Barron Trump got Donald a bunch of interviews with those top streamers, and so Aiden Ross likes Barron because Barron was the one that got him the interview with Donald. I think that's what happened because Barron is like hip to a lot of the. Yeah, I mean these are all mainstream people. Like these are the this is it's like Theo Vaughn. It's I don't know what are some of the other things. Trump did PBD. Trump did Rogan. Palestinians have to leave if you want peace in the Middle East. Well, yeah, but you could get temporary peace at least under Trump. But I mean, if they leave, it shows. I mean, there's no right answer, but it would the connotation would be cucking to Israel to a degree on that. But no, I agree that's why I wasn't against what Trump initially said. Although obviously the United States is not going to be the one to annex Gaza. You figured Israel would level Gaza from the rip. Have you seen the images of Gaza? Gaza's like completely destroyed. I don't know where are people even in Gaza? You got to look at the aerial images. It's crazy. It's like every building has been destroyed. If you see the aerial side, it's not good. Do you watch Joe Rogan? I haven't seen much of Joe recently. When I was younger, I used to listen to Rogan. I've seen some of his clips on X. His clips will go. His clips will do decent numbers, and I'll just see him in the algorithm, I guess. Oh, they're talking about the refugees. 59 total refugees coming in from South Africa, and it's the worst thing in the world. We finally got white refugees. 59 total refugees, and they can't handle it. Trump, I tweeted this. I said Trump pulled the reverse Uno with refugees, and minorities are pissed, and they're really angry about it. And then but the crazy, this is the thing that I just can't get over this. They say we're white supremacists. The United States of America has gone from 90% white to 61% white in the span of 70 years. That's with a population of, like, at this point, well over 300 million. But even back 40, 50 years ago, it was like 200 million. A huge population. To see that difference in terms of demographics, we must be the worst white supremacists in history to have that happen. Like, the worst in history. But it's like, this is 59 people. Look at the demographic shift over the last 70 years. We can't even get 59 people. 59 people, and they complain. It's infuriating. You've been seeing a bunch of stuff about Israel and global control on Instagram, like your whole feed went from memes to crazy shit overnight. Dude, Instagram is like that. 100% Instagram is like that. Yeah. Unless you want a 1-year truce, then it has to be done, unfortunately. Yeah, I know that. Well, that's what I said. I said it'll be 2 years and they'll be fighting again, and they do a 2-state solution. Ben and Jerry's just got arrested. What does that mean? They arrested Ben and Jerry, the owners, for what? Obstruction? How about the Timberwolves? The Timberwolves look good, man. Timberwolves look really good. What's going on with Iran? Potential deal with Iran. We'll have to see if it ends up coming to fruition, but it looks like Iran is open to negotiations. I mean, willing to sign a nuclear deal with Trump in exchange for lifting sanctions. There's drawbacks to lifting the sanctions, we understand. So this will probably involve a negotiation with the administration. It's not like it's a done deal or anything. Putin is in Iran right now. Trump is in Qatar. But yeah, apparently Putin is having his big meeting, as long as that's still on, with Zelensky face to face. That's happening tomorrow, which, you know, they're ahead of us by 7 or 8 hours, so that should happen early when I wake up. That meeting, supposedly face to face, unless that's been called off, I don't know. You know, these things, they happen so quickly. They interrupted RFK's hearing, I know. Yeah, they're trending first overall.
The audience are reminded disruptions will not be
Bernie
permitted
Sanders?
while the committee conducts its business. Capitol Police are asked to remove the individuals from the hearing room. That was a made for C-SPAN moment. The secretary will resume.
That's the budget.
The audience are reminded disrupt.
Yeah, Ben and Jerry's is super woke. They've been like that for a while. I remember their BLM statement. Putin not on Kremlin list of official attending Ukraine peace talks Turkey 2 hours ago. Well, that's honestly doesn't surprise me if that's true. If they called that off. Have you seen the U.S. DRC? You're talking about Democrat Republic of the Congo. They should not do a minerals deal. Now, the problem with that is we're getting crushed in cobalt. China is kicking our ass. They signed a really just the classic Belt and Road. They pulled a Belt and Road on the Congo, of course, and it's just predatory loans, and they can't pay them back. So China gets like 70% of their cobalt. I mean, the Congo has just so many resources. It's insane. Of course, they can't access them. They can't mine them themselves just because they have no infrastructure. So China just takes them all. But I mean, if we did something, I don't know, man. They were requiring, from what I saw, us to be police within the Congo, to police whatever the hell their problem was. They had like a war going on or some shit. I don't think that's a good idea. I don't know if that's still happening or what, but I saw that there was going to be access to, like, they said $24 trillion worth of rare earths or something, or minerals. We need the cobalt is what we need. Is that the guy who was just on Tucker Carlson? What, Ben and Jerry? No. I'm trying to remember who was, because I just saw a Tucker clip. No, Dave Smith was just on Tucker. Ben and Jerry's wouldn't be shit without capitalism. Yeah, and it's total hypocrites. But they're just next level, too. It's like there's woke companies, and then you get Ben and Jerry's. Like, it's insane. 10-year Treasury yield skyrocketed today. Well, what is it at 4.7 now? It was at 4.47 when I looked yesterday, so it's skyrocketed. Well, listen, it's what is it, 4.75? They're gonna have to start QE. They have to. That'll lower it. They start QE. I mean, there's going to be an inflationary effect. You do QE, but you have to do it at some point. I mean, the inflation's down enough. Look at the trueflation. You've got, the thing is energy is really helping Trump keep the inflation down. But also, I've been looking at the diagnosis of just all of the tariff impacts. The tariff impacts have been very minimal right now, and I think it's probably going to continue because Trump removed all the tariffs anyways. There are still some on, but 10% rate, 30% rate. I don't think you're going to see two things inflate too much. Yeah, I saw the Brown schedule is really tough. How many white South Africans do you think will seek asylum? I don't know. They said 50K maybe. I don't know how right that is. I just saw that as an estimate. Thoughts on the new Pope? I don't know. I'm not Catholic, but you give him a chance. You give him a trial. The last Pope Francis was not good in terms of embracing the more like liberal Catholicism stuff. So we'll see if this one's any better. But it doesn't really pertain to me. I mean, the Catholic Church is huge. It's very important. So everyone kind of cares, I guess. But he was on Tucker last week. Didn't watch it though. I saw a few clips with Dave Smith. They were talking, now they'll just talk about this new thing with the woke right, where they call people woke right for engaging in identity politics and things like that. And it's like demographical awareness is woke. I don't understand that. That's crazy. But, they try and equate it to the same thing as what the left does with, wanting all the immigrants and stuff. Remember how the stock market fell after 9/11? How long did it take to recover? I do remember that. It wasn't, it definitely fell. But it did recover relatively quickly. I did a video on that talking. You see the put options? I mean, there were so many people in the know on what was happening with that. The amount of put options were just crazy. I did research into it on the United Airlines, the American Airlines stock. And just the put options were like, okay, maybe there's an abnormal amount. Maybe it's like there's 50% more. No, it's like 5,000% more put options, which is betting against the stock, basically betting on it to go down. Like, When would that have been? The Monday or like the Friday before? Because then 9/11 was a Tuesday. It's like the Friday and the Monday. It's just insane. What was your Blue Sky handle again? I'll be staying away from Blue Sky. Blue Sky, I think, is done. It just, becomes a liberal cesspool. It's never going to work. And I say the Republican ones are Republican cesspools. Like, Parler was a Republican cesspool. Truth Social certainly is a Republican cesspool. I don't go on it. Gotta go to bed. All right, man. I'll see ya. Woke right is a way to shame us into using our own language. Yeah, I mean, I think it's they're trying to label people. I guess. To me, it doesn't really fit at all. Any news on Epstein? I haven't heard anything. I mean, there was stuff where O'Keefe came out with a video of the kitchen on the Little St. John's Island, and there's a weird painting above the kitchen table. I don't know if you guys seen that. It's like a baby. Yeah, that is crazy that Biden dumps 30K Haitians onto Springfield, Ohio when they've got a total population of, 50K? But Trump can't even take in 59 immigrants that are fleeing. I mean, they're fleeing prosecution from... I mean, they came out with a law and they said, we're going to take all the land back. It's like, they're only 8% of the population in South Africa, but they own 78% of the land, because they built the country. If you build the country, you're going to own a lot of the land. You're going to own a lot of the... I mean, it's like 96% of the food. Have you seen the recent article that came out about the South African government not feeding, hundreds of thousands of chickens and the chickens eating each other? I mean, this is a real thing. This is just... It's government mismanagement. They're going to really struggle, South Africa is. And then they're going to blame us for it. Qatari airline invested in over 200 new Boeing planes. I know. We'll see how are they going to be on time. That's the question with this Air Force One issue. But no, I saw that. That's a big historic investment. They said, how about the Saudis, the kingdom, investing a ton in defense? Just a lot of defense contracts from Saudi Arabia. It's like 172 billion. It's like double their budget. There's videos that have come out by Brett Baer talking about... You look at Saudi Arabia, the way they've built that country up. Apparently, they're going to have the most construction out of anyone, even including the United States, by 2028. And you look at their new public transportation, it's all extremely clean. There's an etiquette to it, and it just severely lacks in the United States. Public transportation, you can use it. The public has to have etiquette. That's the problem. What do you know about the Buffalo school systems, essay scandals? In the Buffalo school system, I don't know anything about that in Buffalo. What's happening with those schools and assault scandals, I'm not sure. Any news on the Ukraine-Russia meeting? The only thing I heard was from chat that apparently Putin's not going to be there tomorrow, or there's a rumor that he's not going to be there. I'm going to have to... Just tell me if I need to turn this light on. Dude, this is so annoying. Why are you giving me stuff from the 10th and the 2nd? Yeah, Zelensky wants to meet Putin in Turkey. Isn't Saudi Arabia building a 1 mile long megacity called The Line? It's supposed to be futuristic. Yeah, they scaled it down significantly. I think they scaled it down to 1/10 of a mile. But yeah, they've dug it out. If you can see the foundation of it has been dug out. Like, look at this. Where's that one? Resort X. Yeah, I have video. I used to do videos on this. I mean, they've certainly dug out a decent amount. We need like an aerial shot. What are those supports? That's the line right there, I think. The foundation. You think immigration as a whole should be stopped? Even a bunch of white migrants come in, it will still affect housing. Yeah, but I mean, if all the the white migrants coming in is not what's going to affect it, because there's not a lot of them coming in anyways. But no, I agree. That's another thing. I saw that feminist. She was like, "Women vote based on housing." Bitch, what are you talking about? If you actually voted based on housing, you want housing to go down, you should vote Republican so there's less immigrants, there's less competition for housing. That's the number one problem in terms of housing. There's not enough houses. It's supply demand. So you're talking about the women, their number one concern being housing costs, and you're voting Democrat? How does that make sense? Please address the fact that liberals should export their anti-child-bearing policies to a country like India. Keep that BS out of the United States. Well, it's when it comes to the birth rate problem, it's a problem for every major first world country because there's just modern luxury. People don't want to sacrifice things. It's gonna look crazy if it's finished. Yeah, who knows if they really haven't even committed to it. I guess they've put in some foundational like supports. This looks like what this is. They can just dump money into whatever they want and get it done. No red tape. Yeah. Well, why do you think they have so many crazy mega projects in Saudi Arabia? They get a bunch of money from oil. You know how it is for them to. The cost of oil per barrel is like $10. With fracking in the United States, I think it's like 60 to 70. It's crazy. Oil's gone down, and they say that's hurt Saudi. It's hurt Saudi Arabia. It hurts these Middle Eastern countries when it goes down. It's insane that only 8% of the UAE is a native population, and they've been completely replaced. But it's different because they were empty before 2000. Well, yeah, they had a population to where there was no way they were going to be able to build mega cities without huge immigration. I think that's probably what it is with the UAE. Banning birth control and abortions. I understand what you're saying, and I'm not certainly. I think abortions are terrible, but there's other things at play that you have to take into account when it comes to that. Unfortunately. Aiden Ross, Barron. I'm gonna go to this clip. People just they just spam it at a certain point. It's like, all right, I'll just go to it. But then you got all this other stuff. Like, come on.
I'm cool with Barron a lot. Barron's a really cool guy.
You're cool with Barron Trump?
Dude, he's the coolest guy.
We want to have him on the show.
I think he'll eventually do it. I just spoke.
Who have him on the show? The dude hasn't said a sentence. It's like, it's insane.
With Barron today. I'm not going to talk about what we speak about. Dude, he's a really good guy.
How do you
really,
speak like to him?
I'm not going to speak on even that. I don't want to leak anything. I think he's genuinely a brilliant and an amazing heart. Great soul.
Whoa.
Barron is awesome.
He's a legend.
He's an amazing human being.
That's awesome. And so tall.
Very tall.
So tall.
Every time I see him, I'm like, dude, you grew. I just saw him recently. Dude, you grow. Like, dude, that guy's huge, bro.
Dude, he's an enigma. That's why people love him. They're not really sure what he's up to, what he's about.
Yeah.
But they know he's up to something, and he knows shit. He's smart.
He's very smart. Very, very smart.
Is he part of the reason that Trump did your stream?
Yeah. So Barron was, when I went to I believe Trump had a rally here in Doral. I went there. I met Trump before, but there was the first time Barron went to any of Trump's rallies. Barron was there. He's like, Dad, this is what I was telling you to do the stream with Aiden. I was like, oh, he's like, I'll do it. Like, I'll do it.
And so there's that clip. People wanted to see that. You still think we need immigration in the United States? The population is aging too fast. No, I know what you're saying. A lot of people want it shut down because we don't know how many illegals are in the country. The issue is the economy becomes a problem if you shut it down. You do need an influx of people, but at the same time, it's like, you know, it's one of those things to where we could go through a down period and suffer, but you really can't because it's an administrative thing to where there's an election every 4 years. So can you really afford to suffer? If you suffer and you do this to where you eliminate immigration for a period of time, which honestly you could argue would be just because of the amount of illegals in the country. And if they wanted immigration to be robust, they shouldn't have let in 20 million illegals on purpose. They did it on purpose 100%. How is Trump able to close the border like that with 3 executive orders, whatever it is, in the span of a day? Let them replace us legally? Well, no, you have to balance it with the economy because it would experience a significant downturn. The whale enters. What's up, Sean? How are you doing? You know, I was streaming a little bit later. It's really stuffy in here. I'm lucky it's not sunny. Well, now it's a little bit darker out. It's a little bit overcast. We've got some rain. It's like probably the last week of rain, and then it's probably gonna be sunny. We get a normal climate. People say Ohio, it's bad weather. No, it's just normal. I know it's gonna be hot in June. It's gonna be warm. It's gonna be sunny. It's 80 degrees. I wish it was 60 degrees. I do, but it's not. It's gonna be 80 degrees every day. Who is Sean? Is he a rich buddy? Yeah, he's a supporter of mine that started donating me every stream, and so I called him the whale, and it's been a thing. UAE and Qatar are way ahead of us in several technologies. Would be very cool to go visit. Oh yeah, I think the Middle East would be an interesting visit. The way, very clean is what I hear on a lot of those countries in the Middle East. Obviously, a completely different way of life, but certainly a unique experience. See Rogan talk about Kanye. Yeah, Rogan seemed to be a little coy about it from what I saw when he was talking about the Ye song and the Hitler song. San Diego was 63 degrees. San Diego is really good weather. We know they always say that's like the number one place to live in terms of weather year round in the United States is San Diego. If Barron Trump was interested to run for president, his first election, he could be in 2044. He would be 38 years old. He probably wants to run Trump family business and be successful. Yeah, I mean, I don't even know how people can say 2044. That's insane. They're like 2036. 2044 is, it's impossible to say. I understand Barron's going to be in the spotlight, though, because of his family name. And you got to hear what Barron has to say. We got to listen to him. He's going to go on one of these podcasts at some point. You'll see it. And we'll see him make his debut in terms of speaking. Barron's put on some weight. You look at him. I mean, we'll say, I don't pay too close attention to it, but I say he's put on some weight. The immigrants we let in should be qualified. Dems ruined U.S. immigration by letting taco-eating Well, what they did is, a lot of the immigrants that have come into the country it's false asylum claims. It's actually, under Biden, it would have been better and more advantageous. Instead of risking coming in as an illegal, come in and under an asylum claim, because they just let anyone in under asylum claims, asylum seekers. And by the way, they make this argument now. They pay taxes. Illegal immigrants pay all these taxes. They make the United States government so much revenue. The asylum claims, they get access to welfare. So no, they cost us significant money, and that's why you see them in all these hotels and stuff. It's like, how does this happen? They're asylum seekers. They're like, well, I'm fleeing from X, Y, and Z. They just let them in. It's all these sham asylum claims. Like 40% of them were asylum claims out of the immigrants. It's like it's almost better to do an asylum claim. You get access to welfare. Doesn't UAE have extremely low tax? Yeah, they do. That people move there. There's no tax on crypto. You know, we'll see what Trump does with the crypto stuff. I really want him to eliminate at least capital gains on crypto. It would be amazing. But apparently, from what I saw, it's not going to happen. I saw there was like a market for it, and there was a 1% chance of it happening, so I don't think it's... Will Trump jail Hillary? 1% chance. Trump removing Powell? Honestly, Trump might remove... he says he's... Trump really... I don't think he can remove Powell. It has to be the Congress, but... Which company will have the best AI model? DeepSeek. Well, DeepSeek's releasing their new model. We'll see. Don't get why people don't like 30 plus Celsius weather. It's hot, but it's better than 30 plus Celsius. That seems crazy. That's really hot. You know, we go by Fahrenheit. Listen, I would recommend. I can use Celsius. I know what it is. What is it, like 95 degrees? What is 30 Celsius to Fahrenheit? What is it, like 80 degrees or something? You know, I know Celsius. I can do Celsius, but Fahrenheit is a more accurate air temperature reading. They try and make fun of us for what we use, but it's more accurate. It gives you a more exact number, and it aligns better with human temperatures. Please consider watching the channel The Hot Zone with Chuck Holton. I don't know about that. I never seen that. I never heard of that. Doesn't Barron have an Eastern European accent like his mom? Yeah, they've been talking about... There was a clip when he was younger. He had a deep accent. But I don't know. You know, that could just be when you're younger. You know, you take after your mom if you spend a lot of time with her. Open a Roth IRA would be good long term. I'm thinking about putting. I mean, I will see what I end up doing, but there'll definitely probably be investments that I make long term to get my annual 7% return, 10%, whatever it is. People are like, well, you know, for me it's better maybe Bitcoin, but I don't know, man. Bitcoin, the return on Bitcoin maybe, especially getting into it now when it's at the cycle end. The thing with Bitcoin is it's going to be a lot more stable. I know people say, well, to go to 1 million, I don't know. It's a ridiculous market cap if it goes to 1 million. But I feel like Bitcoin's a lot more stable. We're not going to see it go down 60, 70%, but we're also not going to see it do like a 3 or 4x in the span of a cycle anymore. But I still think Bitcoin is probably a better overall investment than just the S&P, honestly, over the course of but that's if people want to play with crypto, and then you have to have it in a cold wallet. You have to have, you know, the storage of it is a problem for people. Who's your pick for the PGA Championship? I don't know. Rory McIlroy. Remember when I picked him? He's at 17%. Now, remember, I got Rory right. I'm going to go with Bryson DeChambeau. I'm going to go with Bryson DeChambeau as my official pick. Thank you. Need to tighten up immigration to a high degree. Can't allow ourselves to be further replaced. No more immigration from third world, legal or not. Well, no, I understand. And, you know, we'll see what Trump ends up doing with that. But Trump has really brought down the immigration numbers. They're extremely low right now. But, I mean, this is something to where it's like, well, maybe maybe it's not for a conversation for YouTube. I tame myself for YouTube. You know, I like having the YouTube channel and everything like that. So, but no, I know what you're saying. It's something that needs to be looked at, and we get gaslit a lot about it. I mean, how about the gaslighting where we accept 59 white refugees and it's a problem? 59 after everything that's happened to our demographics in this country, we accept 59 refugees. It's this huge issue. It just goes to show you their incentives. IBIT is Bitcoin. You can hold it through your Roth IRA. Yeah, there's probably really easy ways to hold Bitcoin now without having to deal with potentially a store putting it on. I mean, so many people just have it on Coinbase. It's dumb. It's probably enough. Probably nothing's gonna happen to it, but it's better to have it managed for you, so you don't have to deal with any hacks or anything. Because my coins they're just, you buy altcoins, they're gonna have to be stored off in a cold storage. There's really no one to store them for you. It's self custody with altcoins, 100%. How do you trade crypto? Is it like a stock? Never had it explained. You have E-Trade for stocks. Yeah, I mean it's just you buy it, you sell it. The market never closes though. That's the thing. So it's 24 hours every day. Should I invest in a Rumble account? I have a Rumble account on. I started uploading again on there a little bit. Yeah, I got this video. I'm trying to get through checks about Osama bin Laden and 9/11. I wanted to upload it today, but I don't. I want to make sure it passes checks because these 9/11 videos are starting to earn me money again. They really are. I uploaded one that was a story on 9/11 involving John O'Neill, which is a crazy story, and I mean, I'm getting these into the algorithm now. Do you own a MAGA hat? Yeah, I own a MAGA hat. You're a bit concerned about Trump's immigration crackdown. You feel like it was a failure because you saw Mexican families at the mall. That's got to be a troll. You think Pepe gets to $1? Maybe a cent. No, I don't even think it gets to a cent. I mean, what would the market cap be at a cent? It's like 100 billion, right? If it gets to a cent, I mean. Starmer has made 15 plus quotes criticizing mass migration in the last 3 days. NBC reporting India or Iran ready for a nuclear deal. Carney announced his new cabinet yesterday, almost totally unchanged from Trudeau's. Yeah, that's what Paul Viev said. I saw he did a press conference about it. Is there anything for World Cup on Polymarket? Yeah, I'll just have to search it. I haven't seen anything. World Cup qualifiers. There's nothing yet. I mean, there'll be stuff when it gets closer. Will you go to a Trump rally when he comes to Ohio next year or later this year for midterm rallies? Or one for this AF rallies like he did his first term? I don't know. I don't think he's going to be doing it. Well, maybe for Ramaswamy. He might do a rally for Ramaswamy before the midterms. For him coming to Ohio, that would probably be the only way. Have you covered Starmer backtracking on? Yeah, I did at the beginning. It's the tweets that he's making are just it's all a facade with them. But to me, what that signals is they are getting tired of it. I mean, if your liberal government is saying that, there is a clear message that what they're doing is not popular and they need to do something completely different, because that's a total 180 from the liberal viewpoint in Europe on immigration. And it's not just the UK. But Reform won a lot of the local elections like 2 weeks ago, whenever those were, and I think it scared them a bit. Canada's stupid for electing Trudeau 2.0. Trudeau 2.0. I can't talk. Yeah, no, I agree. That's what I was saying. But they blame Trump for that. They're just liberal. It is. They're gonna have problems with Carney. They're gonna have significant problems. Trump World Cup clip. I remember that. That was a crazy clip. That really was.
Speaking of the Jews, have you seen fucking Kanye's new song?
Bro. What is
What?
Really?
Here's the thing.
Again?
What?
My
First of all,
Yeah.
kind of catchy. But this is also the bad part. It's like the fucking song has so many millions of hits
Yeah.
on Twitter. It's been banned from every platform.
Yeah.
But is it good to ban things from platforms, or is it better to let it be out there
I see
and
what you're
let
saying.
people
Yeah.
talk about it? Because if you ban it, then people want to hear it more.
That's true.
And then it becomes more popular, and then it kind of supports what he says, which is that there's this concerted effort, if you talk about Jewish people, that they're going to remove you from everything, remove you from
Right.
banking, which is what he's saying. They run everything. So if they didn't, like if it was just you were talking shit about Puerto Ricans, look what happened to Tony. Nothing.
Yeah.
He's doing great.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if there's certain people that you're allowed to pick on and make jokes about or mock or say something, and you can get away with it.
Yeah. Well, I think he's made his point. I think we all get it now.
It's never going to end. Speaking of the
Starmer is full of shit, but he has no choice but to backtrack or risk civil war. Well, you have to understand, that's a positive development for Europe. If the Liberal Party is coming out saying that, it shows you that there is a cultural shift there. Thoughts on CNN anchor Jake Tapper's new book about Biden's cognitive decline. Biden staffers were apparently planning to put Biden in a wheelchair. I saw that they were saying that, if Biden wins, he's probably going to have to be put in a wheelchair. It's because and that's how bad it was getting for him. There was still that story where, and this is a real story, he they sent him to Camp David to prepare for over a week. It was like an 8-day preparation for that debate. They must have known that it was going to go very badly. You don't send a sitting president 8 days to prepare for a single debate, especially a debate happening in June. But they have the debate in June, which is like historically early, because they were considering removing him if he did badly. And of course he did badly. They pressured him and he got removed. But there's like a story of him like getting into an indoor a pool area or something, and he's sleeping inside of a pool. He's like sleeping inside of a pool for like 30 minutes. They have to go wake him up. He's like in the pool sleeping, like laying on his back. I mean, it's like it's unbelievable with Biden. They're all trying to come out and say, "Oh, we knew he was bad," and they're trying. The media is trying to do that. Israelis are seething over the prospect of peace in the Middle East. I mean, this is the moment for Trump. We'll see if he can seize it. And I mean, I'm not saying the Israel-Palestine situation is easy to solve, and whether or not Trump will get a decent result out of that. But the Iran situation seems relatively straightforward. Yes, there's negative aspects of lifting sanctions off Iran, but when it comes to the U.S., Trump got potentially, if the story is correct, he got backstabbed to a degree by Waltz. Waltz was going behind his back with Netanyahu, talking to him about escalations against Iran, and Trump could have put a kibosh on it. Bought some Boeing stocks before the Middle East visit. Knew Trump would bless me. Yeah, that's you talking about an investment of like $200 billion in Boeing planes alone. Outside of the negative news that the new Air Force One got delayed till 2035, Trump's going to take that plane and the Qatar plane. Did I see Sleepy Joe on The View? Yeah, that was like last week. He was on there. They're trying to do damage control on his reputation. But with Biden, it's the same thing over and over again. It's like the Twilight Zone, like last year. It's like kid gloves. The guy he's not all there. He's declined. So you talk to him, and it's like you try and ask him tough questions, but it's like he can't even comprehend the question, and so it's just this default setting to where you're talking to this very old person that's just it's hard to really even communicate and be like, oh, I'm gonna grill him because he can't really even understand. Jake Tapper was claiming he was not lying, but that the White House was lying. Jake Tapper just trying to save his own ass. Yeah, the media is constantly doing that. The media now is coming out with like these stories about how bad Biden's decline was, and it's like, well, the White House led us astray. I remember Jake Tapper was like talking to Laura Trump. I remember I saw the clip, and he was like shaming her. He's like, how dare you talk about his stutter? Remember they kept saying that? They kept making it about that. It's like that's something he's had his entire life, the stutter. And I mean, anyone could tell he was declined, but they were trying to save him a little bit. Why is Piers Morgan with Bissent? Probably some interview or something. Probably an interview on the economy, I would imagine. We'll take a look at that to see what's going on.
First of all, you can't intimidate me. Come on, give me a break. You know, I was enforcing him. I was wearing a green uniform, Border Patrol agent, for 5 years before she was even born. I had more than 3 decades enforcing immigration law before she became a member of Congress. I worked for 6 presidents. I've seen policies. I've seen hundreds of policies. Some worked, some didn't. But you can't deny the success of the Trump administration when it comes to border security. Again, the most secure border in the history of this nation. And I said from day one, and she knows this, you can not support ICE. Shame on you. You can support sanctuary cities. Shame on you. But you can't cross the line. You can't knowingly impede ICE law enforcement officers. That is a felony. You can't harbor and conceal, knowingly harbor and conceal an illegal alien from ICE. That is a felony. And you certainly can't commit criminal trespass. You know, and as far as New York, her district, this administration has done more to protect her district than she has. The number of criminal aliens we took off the streets of New York made her community much safer. She ought to be thanking the members of this administration, the men and women of ICE who protect this country and make her community safer. So, you know, it's politics over public safety. It's just ridiculous. She ought to love her community more than she hates Trump because we're doing a lot to protect her community.
Well, Homan has had a beef with AOC talking about her, harboring illegal immigrants or whatever, and AOC is a total buffoon. You know, AOC, it's come out, she's the leader right now. They've done polls, she's the leader within the Democratic Party. It's like, she's at 26%, and then the next highest is also at 26%, which is nobody. So like the leaders of the Democrats, AOC, and then no one. That was a choice. It just shows you where their party's at right now. AOC is young, she's a socialist, she's obnoxious, she's a woman. Yeah, good luck. That's not going to happen. It's not going to happen in this country. And maybe as a VP, but even that, it's going to be obnoxious for her. Are they going to arrest AOC? I don't know. I think a lot of this is like performance, but we'll see. Oh, there's a new FIFA clip. It's a soccer ball. Trump signing it. Remember Qatar, they built all those stadiums? The View are the most elitist women in America. Yeah, The View is unwatchable. It's unwatchable. It's just it sounds like a bunch of like deranged toucans just constant bitching on The View. They're all liberal. Then they bring in the token conservative girl. Of course, she's the most attractive one there, but it's like this fake milquetoast conservative that just gets beat up by the just Joy Behar and Whoopi, and it's all the same. I mean, it's like a feeding frenzy with those people. Yeah, I mean, I don't understand what they're talking about. Trump said the egg prices were going down. They were going down. What are they talking about? His fiction. Trump's apparently was lying, but now they're actually going down. No, they were always going down. They were always gonna go down. Once they got the replenishment. Once they got hens back. How does anyone watch it? It's just all old liberal boomer women watch it. That's the demographic. Those people, they're irrelevant. Trump really going to do a lot for the World Cup, especially the economic growth that will come from hosting the biggest sporting event. Yeah, no, it's going to be huge. It's going to be good for patriotism. It's going to be good for the country. The United States is probably not going to do very well, but imagine they made a run. But they're not very good when it comes to soccer, so they always get knocked out in the. I think it's the group stage is what it is with the World Cup. So maybe they can make it past the group stage. That would be big for the country because they're going to be playing at some really state of the art stadiums. I think unfortunately they're going to have the final at MetLife Stadium, but maybe not the best one to have it. But you know. AOC would get destroyed in a general election. Vance would get 350 electoral votes. Yeah, I mean, if she's it's just obnoxious, liberal, very left. She tries to rebrand herself as moderate left. It's the same story, but it's not going to happen for her. I mean, that would be desperation if they went with her because her, it's like you need to grandfather it in. She could be like a VP or she could make a big name for herself, and then she gets less radical, and then maybe decides in I guess 32 or 36 to run, but with her in 28, it's just way too early. I feel like for her to really do anything, she's too obnoxious and too young. But I mean, she'll get like younger votes, I guess. That's why they're really trying to push her out as the next Sanders. Yeah, let me see this. Hold on. I think it's on here.
I don't know.
What are the 5 Grosse Points cities?
Well, look, I'm not here to answer a quiz. I'm here to say that I'm going to fight for the people of Detroit. I'm going to fight for my constituents.
And Grosse Pointe.
And all of the Grosse
Taylor.
Points and all of Taylor and every
E-course,
part, every part of the 13th district.
Okay, I'm just do this real quick. Grosse Pointe Park, Grosse Pointe Woods, Grosse Pointe Farms, and Grosse Pointe Shores. Okay. Right. You know, on your campaign filings, it says occupation. Yours says United States government. Aren't you employed by the people of the United States?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, you fix that one. Okay, and finally, you're getting nailed with this one. The beagles. You abandoned the beagles, left them to die in their cages at your pharmaceutical testing.
See, look, I don't know.
He doesn't even know the cities in his own district or what precinct. If this Middle East pivot for Israel is real and holds, how is Trump going to hold the chambers of Congress together with all the corrupt neocon money spread between the parties? Well, there's even a bigger problem right now. What's going on with the House Republicans here in the Congress in general? They're not getting anything passed. Nothing is happening. They had like a 2-week break, and then now they're having another break. I have no clue what's happening with that, but Republicans are very disgruntled. I know that there's not a lot of progress being made. I mean, you've got the majority, a slim majority in the House, but a clear majority in the Senate. How are things not being passed? I don't know. Israel looking set to have a new election. Opposition leading. Yeah, Netanyahu's probably gone if that happens. Lots of Israelis pissed that. Well, Netanyahu has a terrible approval rating within Israel. But I mean, that might be the thing, and that's what they're saying. It's like the people that want to pour cold water on the Trump anti-Israel thing are saying, well, once they get a new leader in there, Trump's just going to kiss his ass. No, that's real. People are legit asking, people should deport this clown. Is this a parody? Is it real? Disgusting. No, this is real. I mean, this is who they elect. This is who they elect. This is an elected person. This guy can't talk. He can't speak English. I just almost messed up that. That would have been a bad statement to mess up. I kind of did mess it up, but he can't speak English. I mean, this is what it is. Remember Ilhan Omar. She doesn't even like the country. She doesn't like the country. She won. She does not like the country. They elected her. And you could say, well, but like she genuinely hates the country, and she got like a position of power within our government. It's amazing. Insane that the Indian guy is 70. He looks 30 to 40 years younger. I'm not joking. He's literally 70. Yeah, but he's had work done. Do you think Israel was involved? Well, there's a lot of fog of war surrounding that, but there's a bunch of Arab countries that had indirect involvement in that. For sure, there's a few different ones. There's a lot of people that knew something was going to happen in relation to that, including, to a degree, the FBI and the CIA, and they blamed communication as a big problem because they didn't properly communicate the terrorists in the United States. I mean, they were tracking two of the hijacker terrorists in the U.S. There were so many memos and things that were missed. I mean, it's insane. Isn't there talk of AOC running to replace Schumer? Yeah, there is. It's a bunch of like younger people, I think, trying to push it. Well, Schumer is really unpopular because going back to that CR, the continuing resolution that he passed, they didn't want him passing it. They don't want anything passed under Trump. They want nothing passed. And so they viewed Schumer as being weak when he voted to pass that, or said that they were going to pass it. Ilhan Omar was talking about monitoring and survey. Yeah, I saw that. Surveilling white men. Statement alone is disqualifying for holding any political office in America. Why doesn't the House vote her out? Yeah, I think that was a clip from a while ago. Not that it matters, because she still believes it. But they had like a clip from like 3 years ago, and she said like white men were the biggest threat by far and stuff. And obviously we bring out our good friend per capita. That's not even close to true, but she's gonna say that. That's their narrative, I guess. Let alone who found the country, but Iran wants sanctions lifted in exchange for monitoring their weapons program and converting to civilian use. Well, right, there's a negotiation, so they're going to want the sanctions off. Israel's going to hate that, but I think Trump wants to do a deal. Did you hear about David Hogg having his election being voided? Yeah, dude, did you hear David Hogg should sue them for discrimination. David Hogg they said because of diversity, they're basically telling him, you're a white dude, we're taking you out because we want a diverse candidate. This is the problem, is Hogg came in and he started saying that we need to get more juice into the party. We need to get younger. He was going to spend a bunch of money. Like he was going to allocate $20 million to challenge incumbents, in primary races before the midterms. And so a lot of the older, I mean, this is a new kid coming in saying all this. A lot of the older Democrats that don't want to be within Congress, that don't want to be challenged, got real angry about it. And so they're like, we're just going to remove you because you're not diverse or something. Like, that's what it is. They're like, you didn't meet the diversity quota, so we're removing you. Like, if you look it up, it's crazy. But, he's probably just going to cuck and be like, I'm sorry, whatever. He really should stand his ground and be like, what are you talking about? I got elected. I'm a white dude. You're going to remove me because what are you, the diversity? I'm already elected. But they don't like him because of his allocation, apparently, of the funds. And a lot of them are mad because they're like, well, you should be spending it more on the closer races in the House and the Senate rather than spending it on primarying certain Congress, Democrats that are like boomers that they want out. The younger Democrats want them out. They're I mean, because there are a lot of old people in Congress on both sides that are terrible. Nuclear war near? No, I would say no. Nuclear, well, I mean, you never know with nuclear war, but we just stopped something with Pakistan and India. Unfortunately, I don't think the administration got much credit for that. Nobody really knows. Yeah, I saw about the animal testing stuff. I did see that. That was another story that came up after, he put his impeachment article. Like, you guys should see this. Actually, I'll just look at my tweet on it. This is like a child presenting his fucking Play-Doh project. Like, look at this. Here, I'll just play this. I gotta go to the bathroom.
When I was sworn into office, I took an oath to protect the Constitution of this great nation. I'm an immigrant who came to this country with just $20 in my pocket. The United States has given me so much. I love America, and I will do anything to protect our Constitution and our democratic values. President Donald J. Trump has been committing crimes since day one: bribery, corruption, taking power from Congress, creating an unlawful office in DOJ, violating First Amendment rights, ignoring due process, and finally refusing to abide by a unanimous Supreme Court ruling. Just as I stand here in the House of Representatives, Mr. Trump is traveling to Middle East to accept a gift worth of $400 million from a foreign government. I have spoken with Americans all over the country. They ask me, what will you do as President Trump continues his unconstitutional activities? Well, Madam Speaker, I rise today to hold this president accountable. The fact of the matter is, the president has committed crime after crime. I'm not concerned about whether this is the right time or if there are enough votes from my colleagues across the aisle.
Yeah, I can't listen to this. I can't listen to this. Please run this guy for president. Imagine he tried it. He would be gone after the Iowa caucus, or before, maybe before, probably before the Iowa caucus, he'd be gone. Yeah. Do you think he used Microsoft Paint, PowerPoint? Someone probably made it for him. Yeah, it's just ridiculous. This is what they do. This is what they waste money on. This is what they waste time on in Congress. It's insane. This type of stuff. Everyone knows it's a charade. The Democrats, the Republicans, they both know it's a waste of time. It's going nowhere. They don't have anywhere close. This is it's a self-fulfillment thing. It's Cory Booker grandstanding. Like, what did the Cory Booker thing do for over 24 hours? Did nothing. It helped him a little bit in the 2028 polls that are completely meaningless. If he got the nomination, do you think New York flips? Yeah, I think a lot of states would flip, honestly. Why didn't he edit out the microphone in front of his face? Well, because the guy is probably not very familiar with creating a good poster. Not very familiar with Microsoft Editor or whatever. Canva. Who are some possible candidates for governor of Iowa? Perhaps Vivek, if he doesn't win Ohio. Well, I think he'll probably win. I think he'll win Ohio. I'd be surprised if he didn't. Ohio's conservative, and Trump endorsed him. The Mall of Somalia in Minnesota. Yeah, the Mall of America in Minnesota. It is funny. It's called the Mall of America. I saw that. The Mall of America. Huh. I mean, they flooded that state, and especially Minneapolis, with Somalians. He can't run for president. He's foreign born. No, Vivek was born in, I think, Toledo. I don't know, somewhere in Ohio. Cincinnati, maybe. Personal finances getting better, 31%, getting worse, 31%. Well, everyone's personal finances should be getting better over the past month. Ever since Liberation Day. Crazy to think Minnesota has longest streak of voting blue in the nation. Hasn't gone red since 1972. Yeah, it's been an elusive state for conservatives. Could you a live stream where you play GeoGuessr? Yeah, I mean, I'm terrible at that game. I don't know. No, you meant the Democrat guy? Oh yeah, that dude can't. He could barely speak. I mean, I don't know how he'd run for president. Thoughts on Piers Morgan with Scott? I don't know. I haven't seen it. Is there any video of it? Piers Morgan in Qatar with... Yeah, he was obsessed with the vaccine. Piers Morgan was. This is probably still his stance, honestly. They don't really change that. They think it's like a one size fits all with the vaccine. Like you can't oppose any of them. Is it really that overrun with Somalis? Is it just the cities? I think it's the major cities. Maybe the major cities, the surrounding areas, but Minneapolis, I heard, is just completely overrun. I mean, if it's that noticeable to where you see videos of it, you know, I saw where did I see? I saw a video of Toronto is what it was, and it was insane to see one of their malls on a Saturday. Just the amount of Indian migrants that came in, it's completely changes it. Personal finance for 2025 has been great so far. Your wife and you both paid off your debts and have a nice emergency fund too. Hopefully gas will come down. Yeah, I mean, gas is very volatile. There's a lot of people bitching about gas. I was talking about gas. I mean, the crude oil is what you have. Like, crude oil is down. That doesn't mean there's a lot of different things that impact gas in your local area, including the state, because there's certain taxes on fuel. You know, depending on if you're in a more liberal state. Also, if you're in a more rural part, the gas is going to be more because it costs more to transport it. So there's a number of aspects that change it, but it has been very volatile. Like, it was $2.79, then it was $3.19, then it was $2.79. It's moving like 50 cents every day almost, up and down. Gases, at least in my area. You went to a Vikings game at the Minneapolis airport. The Uber pickup felt like a third world country war zone. That's crazy, man. London doesn't look the same. Yeah, London's gotten destroyed. Well, they say even the boroughs within London have been destroyed as well. I saw a clip from someone, I think it was maybe a comedian or something, about London, and just Piers Morgan tweet aged terribly. Yeah, well, that you remember that whole stuff. It was a cult type thing. Before the election, you made a video on the Ann Selzer poll. You said that you would bet any Democrat $1,000 that Trump would win Iowa. Did anyone take you up on that bet? No, no one did. But I mean, even if someone did, would they pay? Absolutely not. But that was a dumb bet for them because the odds were even against it. If you look at Iowa, you know, Iowa was like a 99% chance Trump was going to win it. Then it dropped down to an 80% chance after that poll. Even that poll coming out didn't really change it because everyone knew that poll was complete bullshit. You know, Trump was like suing them or something over that. That's just funny. I don't know what's going on, but I heard people bitching like, how can Trump sue Ann Selzer over a poll? I don't know if he is suing her or not. I know he's trying to talk about suing 60 Minutes, but I mean, that was an obvious poll that she fucking lied about. It was just pure propaganda for Democrats to try and pump up their support for Election Day. Gas has been jumping to $3.15 when you fill up the next day. It's $2.85. Yeah, it's like $3.19 to $2.79 is what it goes in my area. You got your wife to buy 120 shares. IBIT. I don't even. What is that? The thing with Bitcoin? It's the index with Bitcoin. All the left believed the Selzer poll. I know, because Selzer did have an amazing track record, but it was such an outlier. Nobody in their right mind could have realistically said that was going to be an accurate poll, but they were just like, well, because of the history of it, you know, people believed it. Live near the Bay Area. You live near the Bay Area. That's crazy with taxes, man. That's a crazy place to live in terms of the cost of living. But then near the Bay Area. Did you see Jasmine Crockett bitching? I mean, it's every day with her. That's all she does is just complain, and half the time it's not even. It's incoherent. It's just like. It's just complaining about Trump, and they're all trying to joust for like the top spot within the DNC. Who can complain about Trump the best? That's the jousting. Who can bitch and whine about Trump the best? That's why you've got Cory Booker doing what he did. You've got this Indian congressman doing with impeaching. It's just all charades to try and get under Trump's skin. The fat black lady statue in New York has already been defaced multiple times. You wonder how long they'll keep the statue up. Well, they said through, I think, June 17th, but they need to get rid of that. That was a terrible statue. Why do they do this? I mean, it doesn't even make sense. It's not even like it's a black historical figure and it looks like a great statue. It's like they do these statues to troll. They just do them to troll. That's what it feels like. Iowa and Ohio vote very similar. They do vote similar. At least recently they have voted similar. Iowa and Ohio. Ohio used to be a really big swing state. Not anymore. Why did Trump remove Syria sanctions? How will this affect us? Because they just had a regime change, and Trump is trying to create more peace within the Middle East. It's like get off on the right foot with their new regime. They that is something that certainly could help as well. I mean, so you've got that. You have this Iran deal potentially happening. You have the Israel-Palestine situation being solved in one way or another. That's a big three right there within the Middle East. You shouldn't be able to run for any federal office if you're an immigrant. Well, I think that people they're trying to get a law passed that's like that now with all these people in that we're seeing. You should have to be born in the United States because it's a problem with some of these people that have public office. Does shoeless Joe Jackson go to the Hall of Fame? I saw that when Pete Rose. Yeah, they waited for Pete Rose to die, I guess, and then said, well, he can go in now. The MLB Hall of Fame is really weird because it's like the all-time home run leader is not in. The all-time hit leader is not in. They say it's like baseball history. I've been to Cooperstown, the Hall of Fame, when I was way younger. And I don't really remember much about it, but it's just weird because the thing with Pete Rose, with betting, and there's other stuff with Rose outside of that people don't like, obviously. And then with Bonds, the roids, but I don't know, man. It's like, how can you not have the two leaders in hits and home runs? Statue is hilarious to me. Fat West resting bitch face dressed up for a Walmart run. They nailed it. Like, what is the? It's like an embarrassing thing. All right, Spectacular. I'll see you later, man. Did you see the news about Gavin Newsom's recent executive order to ban homeless encampments in California, crack down on homelessness? Huh. It's like 5 years too late. It's already spiraled. It's already out of control. With homelessness, especially in California with the population they have, it's been explained already I know by a lot of people, but it is a snowball. Once it gets big enough, there's too much momentum behind it. Unless you do drastic draconian measures, it's very hard to solve something like that. Liberals will never do anything crazy like that to actually solve it. Unless they go, but you see some of these liberals, like even Starmer in the UK, starting to talk all this game, but it's all talk. And also it's like them admitting their policies suck. If you're, UCF, that's like 95% of the immigrants here. Yeah, at some of the colleges. Some of the state schools, you'll get that aren't private. Mass gang tries to kidnap daughter of cryptocurrency exchange founder. Husband refused to let her go, repeatedly hitting that. Yeah, that's really scary what's going on with those crypto things. That's happened a few different times. People that have a lot of crypto, they're the best thing if you've got a ton of it is to have your wallet in a completely different location or give them like a dummy wallet. But I don't know if they force you like to take out the money. It's almost better. Imagine setting up like a dummy wallet with fake Bitcoin and then, oh, here you go, we'll transfer it. It's almost better to have something like that, but you shouldn't have to do that. Trump should bring back and restore all statues of our forefathers taken out by BLM and Antifa, of our founding fathers. Yeah, a lot of it was, I think, Confederate was a lot of the stuff that they took down, like Robert E. Lee, those statues in the South. But there were a lot of them. I mean, they started taking down like Lincoln statues, and no, I don't know about Lincoln, but they started taking down some of the founding fathers. They're like, oh, they're slave owners, all this, and it was a different time back then. But I mean, that just shows you the disconnect within our country in terms of the respect that we have for our founding fathers versus these other people. And to a degree, I understand based on slavery, but there needs to be the utmost respect for those men. Do the Spurs take Harper at number 2? Yeah, Harper or Bailey, I think, is what they're going to do. But I don't know. I haven't been following the draft close enough. I know Cooper Flagg will go number 1. Trump managed to control Syrian oil and mineral rights. What is it? Really? What is that through? Lifting the sanctions on Syria? $600 billion economic cooperation agreement with cooperation agreement with Saudi Arabia, $200 billion deal to sell Boeing aircrafts to Qatar. Comprehensive economic cooperation with Qatar of $1.2 trillion. But what is this over? I mean, a lot of this money, you wonder if this gets all invested. Normally it never does. But I mean, this is still good news. You can still swing this as like, because they said it was going to be around $1 trillion in terms of the total trip, but it looks like it's going to be $2 trillion maybe if they're going to talk about $1.2 trillion. But a lot of that is over the span of like 10, 12 years commitment. Would you ever visit Trump's library after it's been completed? Would assume that it's built in New York City. Well, I mean, I'd like to see what it looks like for sure. Especially considering Obama's library. Yeah, the Trump library, there'd be a lot of gold. It'd be grandiose. I mean, look at what he did to the White House. I think the White House looks really presentable. I mean, it's not necessarily my style, like all the gold, but I think it looks really luxurious and nice in terms of the decorations. You and me are running for president in 2040. Yeah, we got to start the campaign, man. You had a panic attack because of military shows showing nuclear war here videos. Yeah, it's all clickbait whenever they say that. Whenever they say nuclear war is here, it's just clickbait. ChatGPT is way better than Grok AI at image generation. I know. Yeah, I know. I've done both of them, tested it out. But the problem with the ChatGPT, I don't know if I have the free version or what, but it's not it takes a while to generate it. I always say is a lot of people using this right now, so it takes a long time to generate images. Grok is terrible at image generation. Even the Grok whatever. I have the because I have the check mark, so they give you whatever the Grok upgrade is. It's gonna be 3.5, I think. I think right now it's 3. But yeah, it's really bad in terms of the image generation. The ChatGPT seems to take longer. You remember what was it? Microsoft Edge? They had decent image, but that was like 2 years ago. That was when it first came out. Trump Library in New York City or Miami. Probably New York City. But I don't know. Where's it going to go? Where's it going to go? They're going to have to build it up from World Trade Center too. The second World Trade Center. They'll build it up. No, I'm kidding. That's already been started, the foundation of it. They can't really build a library on top of that. But that's important land right there. What they got, it's just sitting there. They defaced monuments dedicated to Lincoln, Jefferson, Douglas, Grant. Yeah, I mean, it's everyone. Well, those people are they're ignorant on any history, so it's any white guy they're gonna go after. I mean, that's just what it is. And then you've got liberals supporting it because remember BLM. If liberals went against it, they'd get called racist. Like you go against $2 billion in property damage and like 25 people dead, but if you go against that and say no, don't do violence, don't do riots, it's like the most costly riot in the history of the United States. And they talk about January 6th. You're visiting Washington, D.C. next year in the spring of 26 to celebrate 250th anniversary. Excited to see all the monuments. Yeah, I've been to D.C. a few times. Not in a while, but back when I was in like 8th grade, I went to D.C. And then before that, when I was younger, I went to D.C. as well. So I've been to D.C. a few different times. It's definitely, it's fun to see all the monuments. They should build more monuments. That's the thing. I'd like to see a grandiose, like possibly Penn Station. I know they've been talking about that. I don't know if that's something that they would show in terms of renderings. But, Penn Station. Yeah, they're trying to rebuild this to a degree. What beautiful. Yeah, this is what Charlie Kirk tweeted out. They would have to move Madison Square Garden to make room for it, and would they have to build a new Madison Square Garden? I don't know. They'd want to do that. $250th anniversary and World Cup will overlap. It's going to be a great summer. Yeah, it should be really good in terms of the energy within the United States because of everything that's going on. Pete Buttigieg announced his campaign. His campaign for what? 2028? I highly doubt that. That seems a bit early. Do you think that it's fair for the media to attack Trump for having a military parade on his birthday when it's also the Army's birthday? No, that's not fair. I mean, it's just a grand time, celebration. So he's having a military parade. They're like, oh, it's going to be $50 million or something. It's like, it's for nationalism. That's the reason you have a parade like that. It's ironic how liberals are now pro model eats war and sanctions against Middle Eastern countries. Well, I mean, yeah, they've come out in favor of the Ukraine war because they say, well, they got invaded, they shouldn't give up any land, but it's not that simple. It's just not how it works. I mean, what are we going to be involved? Trump actually is helping Ukraine now because we have a minerals deal. I feel bad for Buttigieg, the Buttigieg kid. He is a kind of a younger dude, but yeah, he what did he grow? They said he grew a beard to try and relate to people. I mean, that's pretty pathetic. Need a 2026 bracketology video soon. Yeah, I was thinking about that, just kind of how that works with March Madness. It really is. All college basketball is you just can't make money off of college basketball outside of really 1 month. The reason I do the bracketology videos is to get in the algorithm. That's the reason. Because you can't just immediately come out with your college basketball predictions. The video wouldn't do well in terms of views. So you come out, you have to get back into the algorithm within college basketball. So that's why, you do all those. Originally, it was just because that was my content. But now it's like, well, you do the bracketology, not for the views. You're not going to get a lot of views off bracketology videos, But you're going to get into the algorithm. And when you get into the algorithm, then when you're talking about doing the big moneymaker, which is the predictions, which is like a 30-minute video, you get tons of watch time on it. That's what you're talking about. That's what we want. So it's more of like getting into the algorithm. But college basketball, you can make money 1 month of the year. That's it with college basketball. It is not sustainable at all. Do you think we can deport most of the Somali invaders in Minnesota? I don't know what their status is right now. What is it? Refugee status? Yeah, you're gonna have to them and the Haitians as well. I mean, they're all here temporarily, right? You never liked Fuentes Too Fruity? You think he's gay? I honestly don't think he's gay. You support the U.S. military parade? Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think it is. It's gonna be good. I mean, they say it costs $50 million. Who cares? I mean, we spend so much money on some of this shit. It's like, oh, it's not government efficiency. We saved $20 billion in the U.S. aid money. Then they try and say it's soft power. What have we gotten out of U.S. aid? Where's the soft power? Where's the minerals we've gotten? Where's the predatory loans that China does? How's our soft power working? It's not soft power. You heard the Biden library is so underfunded. It may be a virtual library. Jill is doing the audio. Yeah, probably. I mean, what's with Biden's library should be like a one shelf of books. It's like 10 total books. Construction updates. Oh, they are. The construction is going on this. Look at this thing. It's a block. It's a brick shithouse. I mean, come on. This looks terrible, man. It really does. What are all those words right there? Some letters, but some bullshit. Vivek will win Ohio. Yeah, I mean, I think he probably will, honestly. I mean, if you get a MAGA endorsement, Ohio's already conservative as it is. Yeah, that's what I said. It looks like a futuristic version now. These new renderings that I'm seeing, it looks like a futuristic. Well, I guess these are older renderings, but like a futuristic commie block structure. AI pick? No, it's not an AI pick. It's a rendering. Architects put it out. What building is it? It's Obama's library that they're building. They say it's going to be open by 2025. I don't know. I mean, yeah, the construction was moving along on it. But I don't know. I thought it might have got delayed. Where's the windows? I think these are supposed to be windows up here. There's some windows down there, but there's just, yeah, this just looks terrible. Looks horrible. They're going to start building up the libraries probably to be more grandiose than these. They should build it in Kenya where he was born. I mean, it is a convenient place to be born in Hawaii. Nah, I mean, but I've always thought that was a convenient place. But, you know, they try and dunk on Trump with that. They're like, you believe that conspiracy theory that he was born in Kenya. Mm-hmm. No, they're not all Indians, bro. They're not as right wing as you. That's what it is. They're not as right wing as you. I don't think I think Trump's library is probably gonna be pretty grand. It'll be a grandiose, probably like a dome or something if I had to guess. Trump was a birther. Yeah, Trump was the main birther, the main one back in. He was talking about it in like 2012. Yeah, Trump was talking about building a golden dome. I mean, I think a golden dome makes sense, but it seems extremely complicated to build. Like, there's just so much area to cover. It's such a common sense thing, but it's Golden Dome will likely cost trillions when completed. Yeah, there's so much land to cover. That's or so much area to cover, airspace to cover. It's not like Israel. Imagine if Trump, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, UAE, Syria just mug Israel and annex the Gaza Strip. The Gaza Strip will be a global. Yeah, I mean, that's what Trump wanted. He wanted, but the thing is I think Israel would have a huge say in that if that was going to happen. So I don't think they would mog Israel, but I mean, that would have to be through the facilitation of the United States. I mean, hypothetically, I guess they could try and do it. Well, I don't know what Israel would really do about it, but I mean, Gaza's just beat to shit, so there's going to have to be Arab investments into that region. We need a golden. I mean, I think a golden dome makes sense. It's just extremely costly because of how big the U.S. is. Like, the only way we can ever get hit is through missiles or nuclear bombs. Nobody's going to invade us. There's just no ways to invade the United States. But invasions are really not going to happen with major countries anyways. The only invasions that'll happen, obviously Europe is a total different animal just because there's so many smaller countries there. But it's just big countries invading smaller countries. Like the United States, although it's not even an invasion, like invading Greenland, China invading Taiwan, like, and especially these bigger countries that have territorial claims, historical claims, or even Russia invading Ukraine. But you're not going to get like two behemoths fight against each other. I feel like it's all going to be nuclear or ballistic or drone. Our dome has more time to respond. Yeah, the dome, but even that, you know, they always talk about hypersonic missiles, so it's an issue. If there's hypersonic missiles, can the dome even respond to that? Hopefully there's a way to detect it either, but it seems very hard. Do you take money from Klaus Schwab? Well, Klaus retired apparently, but he's still leading. Now that they are done ethnically cleansing Ukraine, do you think that's where the I don't know where the Palestinians are going, man. Nobody wants the Palestinians. You think it would be Egypt and Jordan, but that's like the easiest places. They're talking about sending them to maybe a desert or something. I mean, it's real dark, but I don't know. If somebody takes them, there's gonna have to be some type of compensation for them because nobody wants them. All right, guys, that's gonna do it for this live stream. I did 2 hours. Something with the Davos. Remember with the remember when DeSantis sent them all the immigrants, Martha's Vineyard? They got so angry about that. Did you see the new news about 200 billion Boeing? Yeah, I talked about that. Yeah, there's a lot of deals happening with the Middle East. Not surprising Trump's visiting there. Good luck with a new workout routine. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what I do tomorrow. I'll definitely try and do something. I think it'll help. But I will see you guys.